What if somebody told you that you could have $20,000 and all you had to do was about an hour worth of your time? Or maybe they told you you could take $50,000 for about an hour of your time per month. How does that sound? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how you can do this using leverage. We're living in a very pivotal time where we're in the time where everything is switching from legacy to crypto from a financial standpoint. And we can use leverage in fiat to build a crypto portfolio, exactly what I am going to do. There's two different types of leverage. I'm going to talk about those, which specific type of leverage I am using. Then we're going to get into an example with numbers to show you what I'm talking about. So with that being said, if this is your first time here, what's Gucci? My name is Sam, and for those of you who are returning, it is good to freaking see you. Now, before we get into the content, if there's some links down below if you want to support the channel or check out other social, but I have to say, this is not financial advice. I definitely don't recommend you do this. I'm putting this out here because this is what I am going to be doing, and if I shoot myself in the foot, I will show you that I shot myself in the foot. So let's get into the video. Now, leverage, right? We see this awesome GIF in the background where we see one dude who is able to apply some amount of effort to lift 1 ton or 2,000 pounds. How is that possible? With 2,000 pounds, like the record, the world record for deadlift is just over 1,000 pounds. How could just a normal person lift 2,000 pounds with leverage? So let's understand what leverage is. This is just like Google. Leverage, the exertion of force by means of a lever or an object used in the manner of a lever. This is what we're talking about when it comes to leverage. And there's two different types of leverage that you'll have in this world. People are always looking for leverage of some sort, right? But there's two different ways that you can utilize leverage to help grow your business, right? You can leverage other people's money, OPM, that's what this is. And you can leverage other people's time. That's what this is. So leveraging other people's time might be hiring somebody, right, to buy your time back because you're hiring somebody else. You're leveraging their time. Leveraging other people's money, or OPM, is very common in the real estate game. And leverage in general is very common in the real estate game. And when you look at OPM, there's two different types of leverage. There's crypto and there's fiat leverage. Now, I wrote down some of the differences between these two. When we look at leverage, we can leverage in fiat or we can leverage in crypto. Why, or what are some of the risks for each side, and why might one choose one side versus the other side? So let's go through crypto first. Well, crypto is brand new, right? 13 years old, so it's brand new in general. Fiat, been around hundreds of years, right? So you have this idea of fiat lending as something that is very common, and a lot of the nuanced risks on either side have been ironed out, right? So you have that. That is the like macro level view, but let's dive into the details. So in crypto, you can borrow against your crypto, right? So if you use collateral and the collateral is volatile, then what you're doing is increasing the volatility risk by borrowing against it. Because you have the underlying asset that would, if it goes down in value, you could default, right? Unless you decide to put in more capital, right? But we want to do this so that we don't have to put in any capital at all. So crypto If you borrow against a volatile asset, you are adding volatility risk. There's plenty of instances in crypto where the price drops by 90+%. That means you can borrow maybe 10% or 5%, right, just to be conservative. And then it's not really a ton of leverage, right, if you want to be conservative or risk averse. Now, another thing is you could borrow an asset that is volatile, right? So you could borrow an asset that is volatile against, say, a stable coin or something. Well, what happens in the future if what you borrowed goes up in value? Well, that would be like me owning this duplex, and the value of the debt just goes from whatever it is to double, right? Because debt is more expensive, right? It would be almost like having a variable interest rate, so to speak, right? But instead of having an interest rate going, say, from 5% to 6%, you could potentially have something going from 5% to 50% in crypto, because it is so incredibly volatile. So you can have the underlying that's volatile, which in the first one here, where you have collateral that's volatile, that would be like me having this house, right, and borrowing against it, and then say there's some strange anomaly that happens and the property value tanks, right? So say the property value is $300,000 and the debt is $250,000, and the property value comes down to $240,000. Well, in that case, if you did this in crypto, as an analogy, you would lose the house, right? You would lose your crypto in the crypto borrowing case. Not the case here, right? And in the borrowed asset that is volatile, your asset could go up in value, meaning you have a more expensive debt to pay back in the future. Not a great thing from a risk averse standpoint, right? And then you can have, in this circumstance here, where you have debt that goes up in value, while at the same time your collateral goes down in value. Doesn't seem like a super great option to me, right? Now, we didn't put up here, but you could take stable coins like USDC, Tether, or DAI type thing, and you could borrow, 50% against those or something, right? And just hope that shit doesn't come super crazy volatile, right? Nothing strange happens, nothing like Luna, where there's utter collapse and there's a ripple effect throughout the entire market where everything loses their peg to a certain degree, or to a greater degree than they had been losing their peg, right? And then you're borrowing a stable against a stable, right? So you can reduce some of that risk there. That would probably be the only way to go about it. But there's a better way. As I bang my head into the microphone, there's a better way. There's a better way. Fiat borrowing, right? Let's talk about taxes over here before we get into the fiat borrowing. I read through the IRS website, made an entire video about it. You can search the channel around taxes and crypto. The IRS has not given a lot of guidance on their stance on crypto. If you're not familiar with taxes or business, taxes are just arbitrarily fucking made up shit that we have to abide by, right? If we want to live within the rules. And the IRS hasn't made up their arbitrary fucking rules around crypto. So the idea of borrowing crypto to you or I might make sense. It is perfectly possible that the way crypto is done currently for borrowing, could be perceived as a taxable event. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but it is 100% possible, and we don't know. So there's an added layer there of risk associated with borrowing in crypto. So you have the collateral, you have the amount you borrow if it's a volatile asset, right? That could be an issue there. You also have the issue of if you stacked volatile collateral against a volatile borrowing asset, right? Then you have volatility squared. Not a great idea. You can get super effed up on that one. And then you don't know how the IRS is going to come out with their tax ruling or guidance on crypto. We don't know this stuff, right? And you just have the whole macro environment that could be effed up, right, in some way, which causes some abnormality that to happen in a very short period of time that doesn't last super long, but it doesn't take long to get liquidated. In the example where I talked about the house, where it was $300,000 and the debt was $250,000, if the house value comes down to $240,000, and say it happens for one day, right? Like if you own a house, it literally doesn't matter, right? You just continue paying your bill. Well, in the crypto world, if the house value came down, the underlying collateral, you are effed up and you just don't have any more collateral at that point. Period. So these are all risk factors. Yes, you could use a stable coin to borrow against it and borrow a stable coin. Cool. Understand it. Like, not necessarily a bad idea. I do think that there's better options. I do think that there's better options with fiat because we're going to get into those now. You can use the collateral that is stable. There's personal loans you can use. You can use business loans. There's a bunch of different options, and there's so because of the longevity, meaning how long fiat borrowing has been around. There's so many different options. Right? I did a video around how to get free solar batteries and a new roof and insulation for your house. Right? This is a rental property, while using crypto to pay for it, similar to what we're going to get into in the example in a minute. And you can use fiat borrowing to take advantage of that, and then leverage that into crypto so that you can get your free solar system. All you need to do is just continue to pay your bill. That's it. Right? With the fiat, all you need to do is just continue to pay your bill. Most of the fiat debt is fixed, right? So it doesn't really matter what happens, but if you borrow against a security of some sort, like in which could happen with crypto, then that could be a bad thing and you get a margin call, right? But you can do that against real estate. You could do it against a business like the AR or accounts receivable within a business. You can do personal loans. You can do it against other assets outside in the physical world to borrow against, and you just have fixed debt. Right? You just pay a fixed payment. It's amortized over some period of time. Taxes, right? We don't know about crypto. It's super clear about the taxes in fiat. Right? So you can actually set this up as a business, how I will be doing this, and the debt in fiat, the interest that I'm paying, is a cost of doing business. What do you do with costs that are associated with running a business? It is a write-off. The interest in debt in fiat is a tax write-off. Thus, if you think of an effective interest rate, the effective interest rate is the after-tax interest rate. Right? So the effective tax rate will be lower. Let's say, for example, the interest rate is 8%, right? And you're in a 30% effective tax bracket, which could be like state and federal combined, right? So say you're going to keep 7. So your effective interest rate would be 5.6%. 5.6%, right? So say it was 5%, right? Then you say 0.7, so your effective interest rate is 3.5%, because you're writing that shit off. You are writing that shit off. Okay, cool. Now, let's talk about how we're going to actually do this. We're going to be looking for some yield, crypto yield, and liquidity providing, and staking. So we got an example to jump into first, but I want to first take a look at, when I say searching for yield, what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, you probably have heard of some of these examples. Hedge funds, real estate investment trusts, REITs, institutional money is buying up, here's one, Goldman Sachs, this is from 4 weeks ago. Goldman Sachs-backed firm buys Florida community of single-family homes for $45 million, right? Trust price used for homes. So what is this? What does this mean when this happens, right? Goldman Sachs is raising money to buy single-family homes that they're going to rent to people. What does this mean? Well, they're searching for yield. They're searching to make money on their money, their customers' money and their money. So they're buying single-family homes, which have never really been an asset class for institutions, and now they are. It's completely removing them off the market, you know, as a tangent for a moment here, but the single-family homes being purchased by, say, you know, hedge funds and institutional money like this. If I am an institution or a hedge fund and I'm purchasing single-family homes and I build up a portfolio of 1,000 units of single-family homes, and I say I want to dispose of that in 5 years, 7 years or something, how am I going to get rid of that? I am definitely not going to break that down. I'm definitely not going to break 1,000 units down and sell them individually. I'm going to flip that whole entire bag to somebody else, another institution, another hedge fund, a pension fund, right? I'm going to take the entire sucker and sell it to somebody else. So that means these single-family homes are never going back on the market. They're effectively completely removed from the market from home buyers, individual families purchasing houses. But that is the tangent. Now let's understand liquidity providing and staking with an example. So fiat debt. We're talking about 25 G's, right? 25 G's. And be like, yo, bro, you can have $25,000, $25,000, but probably taking like a half hour of your time, maybe an hour of your time, a month, for free. For free. So if you, this is I think a 6% interest rate, so your payment on this is $415 a month. The total amount over 72 months is $29,000, and the total interest is $5,000. So you're going to take this $5,000 and you're going to write this off against your income. We're going to cover LPing. I've covered how you can use staking with Hex to actually lower or pay your bill, right? You can set a reserve up, right, of 12 months, stake the rest of it out for 12 months out. You say you earn a 10, 11% on the money that you do put out for 12 months. When that comes due, then you use that to pay your loan for the next year, take the rest out, put it out for another stake, right? You can do that same type of thing. I've run over that in a couple of videos. You can check the channel for that, right? But one of those things is kind of like betting on that Hex is going to go up in price, right? Or you're at least taking the risk that Hex could go down in price, even if you don't think that the price of Hex will go up, right? You're betting on the price that won't go down. We're down 90+%, so it seems like it could potentially be a safe bet, but at the same time, it could go down another 90%. It's possible. I won't be surprised if it goes down another 80% from where we're at. But in that case, let's say Hex, right? So say you could get, let's say, 500,000 Hex, and in a year, right, it's gone from, say, 5 cents, where it roughly is trading now, and say it is at 15 cents, right? Then you're at $75,000. So in a year, you just pay your shit off, right? So that would be one way of doing that. Now, this is with the liquidity providing. So this is a liquidity providing calculator for V3 Uniswap. You could do this, you can pick whatever network you want, but we're going to use Ethereum. And we're just going to pick some of the main tokens right here to show you how easy this is. Ethereum, and let's pick Tether. Now, so we have Ethereum and Tether. So this is the pair. How would this work? So we would effectively take our $25,000 minus, say, $100 for fees, and we would put it as a liquidity pair for ETH and USDT for 0.3%. Right? So let's change this to $24,800. Let's say there's $200 of fees here to set this up, right? We're effectively at $24,000 because we paid $200 in fees. What does that generate? Well, that generates $870 a month. of profito. So you can take your $870 and you're effectively making a double payment here. So your shit is paid off in less than 36 months. Right? In less than 36 months. This is just generating this income for you. Or another way to do this, right? Because the interest rate is so high, you could just take out $415 of the 800. Take the 800, put that into here. So this say now is 25. What is that? 25,200, right? And then same thing. You're about $900 over the next month, right? $880, right? So you take out another $415, and this goes to say $450 more. So this is $650, right? Now you're $900, right? And you can do this manual compounding here, and you effectively are getting money for free. Money for free. So what you're doing is you're leveraging other people's money in terms of a loan in fiat, whether that's against some collateral, a personal loan, or a business, which gives you tax benefits to do this. And if this is your first business, now I'm not recommending anybody should do any of the things that I'm talking about in this video, but if this is somebody's first business and they're not already doing this, and they set this up, then not only could they write off the interest on this loan, they could write off their internet at home or a portion of their internet. And if they utilize their phone at all to pay attention or research crypto, then they could write off part of their phone bill as well, right? And they could probably write off a portion for their office as well as their electricity at home, right? So you can do all of these things to write these things off. So what does that write-off actually include? Well, let's assume that somebody is able to pull in, say, $1,200 worth of expenses for their office, for the internet, for their phone, for electric. I'm sure there's several other things you could pull in here. Say it's $1,200 a month times 12 months, $14,000, and if it's at a 30% tax rate, right, then you effectively give yourself $4,300 of a tax liability reduction. Basically, you're going to be making $4,300 more by reducing your taxes. Another way that I like to think about being able to convert any expenses to business is you get a discount on whatever you're purchasing, right? Would you like a 30% discount on whatever you're purchasing, right? Make it into a business and you can get a discount on that. Pretty simple. Now, definitely don't recommend anybody do this stuff unless you're super familiar and comfortable with the risks, right? This is 100% possible that say you do something stupid, right? And you lose $25,000. What does that mean? It means you, sir, are paying this $415. That scares you. Don't do it, right? Basically, if you do something stupid, or say this whole entire system collapses that is crypto, or something gets hacked, right? Then you maybe stop paying $415 a month. Boom, right? You gotta recognize this, right? So if you're not comfortable with that, then don't do it. But what you should do is press the share button down below and share this with somebody else who understands leverage and loves crypto so that they can get some value out of this too. Appreciate you guys. Don't forget to jump down below to Twitter. Say what's good. Press the follow button on Twitter. Say what's good. Shoot a DM. Retweet something. Say hello. And on Instagram, do a lot of fitness related content, so you can check out that. Or every Thursday on my other YouTube channel, link should be coming up here on one of the corners. And I have a Thursday at 6:30 p.m. EST fitness live show. So if you would like to learn about the PEDs, if you'd like to learn about peptides, SARMs, HGH, all that kind of stuff, you should jump over to that show and jump on that show. Appreciate you. Talk to you soon. Peace.